And we're out to pick up another car with a U-Haul trailer. Thing is that this one is in South Carolina, and guess what? It's actually Fred's EG Civic. It broke down 2 weeks back, I believe. And yeah, so now we just rented a U-Haul to go get it since it's closer to me than him. And let's see how this road trip goes. All right, so we got the hatch back in the garage. It's been a couple of days. I was sick, so I couldn't work on this beauty. So it's been a couple of days since I picked it up, which was Friday last week. So it's been a whole week. Finally recovered. We're back at it. We've been trying to diagnose this. I believe we took Saturday to diagnose it and today. Coming to the conclusion that it's probably the distributor because we try to get spark out of it and nothing's happening. We sourced another one, which was like $50 nearby. So it only took about 20 minutes of my time. 10 minutes to get there, 10 minutes to come back. And here we are. So I have my neighbor helping me with this project at the moment, and we're gonna just put in the new distributor, see if it turns over. If it doesn't, we gotta do more diagnosing, more troubleshooting to see what's happening with this car. This car drove fine. It came down from New York to Florida. That's about 17, 18 hours. And it made it here just fine. We did dabble in a few things while he was here, but he did touch, I think, the O-ring for the distributor. Other than that, nothing more. And that was only because it was leaking oil. After that, he took it back and the car ended up breaking down on him in South Carolina, the beginning of South Carolina. He ended up having to leave it, and he tried to source a mobile mechanic around there. We didn't know anybody. Last resort was me, but I don't have a truck or anything. I would have to drive over there with tools. So the car kind of stood over there. And now we ended up picking it up. And here we are now with the car, trying to figure it out, and we're gonna see what's next. Hopefully the distributor is the problem. If not, then I don't know what else to do. We're gonna junk it. All right, so we're back a couple days later. Distributor has arrived. It's brand new, and we got this off of, I think, Parts Geeks, just to see if it even works. You know, where we left off was that the car didn't have any spark. We changed the cap, the coil. The next thing was going to be the ignition coil. Fred said just order another distributor and see, you know, instead of like knocking things one by one, just get a new one and just see if that works. And if it doesn't, we have bigger problems. I don't know what's causing it, but we know that the car has no spark. So I'm hoping this fixes the issue. If it doesn't, then I'm not sure what's going on with the car, but Fred said if it doesn't work, scrap the motor, sell it for pieces, and we would just go K at that point. Not sure how he expects me to go K in this little ass garage. The car is tiny, so we can make it work, but this is gonna probably be a long project now. He got to enjoy it a little bit, and let's try to just put this on and see if it works. Also, Fred was running a PO6 computer on this car, and I told him not to, but he didn't listen to me. Again, I told him to run a P28. He didn't want to buy another P28 because he didn't want to waste money on this motor, because it was just to get him A to B. I'm not sure if that has to do with things in this nature that affected everything, but I do know the car wasn't running right with that computer. It's not going to run right. We do have a P28 now that I'm using from my neighbor. It might get sold to Fred if this works. And if it does, then yeah, he could pop VTEC all day. In the meantime, let's try to figure this out. Like I said, we got this from Parts Geeks. It came out to like about $80, I think. So hopefully, you know, good $80 spent. They had cheaper options. We went with the medium, I guess, price one, which was $80. The cheaper one was 60 and 70. Hold on, let me open it. And I'm not sure if I put this in the video or not, but we did get another distributor locally. This is an AutoZone distributor, but as you can see, it's a little bit bulky down here. Supposedly this was for Y8, supposedly, from the kid that I got it from. I'm not sure if he like scammed me for this distributor, but it is what it is. It was only like $50. I got a jumper harness with it, whatever. It is what it is. You know, we're moving on to bigger and better things. Let's try to get this out. And see, it's much smaller. So this should work. The other one was a bit longer. All right, so we just put on the new distributor. We have it all tightened down, locked in. It didn't want to go and cooperate, but let's hopefully see if something happens. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We can start it now and go from there. See if we get any spark. If we don't, then I'm not sure what's the tough ready. All right, so we got the P28 connected right now, and we're gonna give it a start and see what happens. Hopefully we get something. All right, so we charged the battery, and we're gonna give it its first start. What was that? Looks like it wants to kick on. Smell fuel. So, new distributor on, battery's charged. We was hearing clicking before, but that seemed to be the battery. The battery was dead. Yeah, I don't really know what's the cause. I gotta do more diagnosing at this point, because I'm gonna see if we are getting spark, and we should be, because it's a brand new distributor. Let me double check the lines. Looks like we haven't really found a solution. I tilted the distributor a bit towards that way for it to see if it catches time. Positioning of the distributor changes it. I know that was a thing, so I try to do that. See if it cranks. It just keeps cranking. Something's happening. I gotta check spark again. And if there's no spark, something else is failing. Either we're not getting ground, which should be, because we have ground there, and we have ground here, which I gotta double check this. This looks a little sus, but I gotta double check that, because it's probably it too. I'll come back to this tomorrow or Saturday, because it's Thursday night right now. All right, as you saw, car's still not starting, battery's charged, we're still getting crank but no start. So we're gonna do a compression test. I believe it should still be fine, but let's just try. It doesn't hurt. I have it, so I'm gonna do a compression test on all 4 cylinders, see if we lost any compression. If we did, then yeah, the motor's pretty much gone. It is what it is, and we're gonna just K swap it at that point. Fred doesn't want to waste more money, and he's just gonna get a K series from the depot, and we will swap this into a K probably in about a month, maybe less than a month, maybe. Fred will gather all the parts, ship everything out to me, and I will try to get this done. And I think he would fly in for like a week and help me put everything together and go from there. The other concern I have is the suspension, and because the car is creaking when he drives, so I'm gonna just double check his suspension work from the rear to the front and make sure everything is tightened up. But for now, we have to worry about why the car isn't turning on. Next thing I'm gonna tackle is timing. He had his mobile mechanic do timing. I don't trust it. I don't trust him. But Fred had to work with what he had at the moment, which he was in South Carolina. He was 5 hours away. I was gonna go and help him, but it was kind of like, what am I gonna do, you know, at that point. So we had to settle everything down, and I had to arrange for me to just go out and go pick up the car. Transportation company was not trying to get this car for some reason. They didn't even schedule anything out. It took about a week and a half, and nothing was scheduled. So I ended up taking it into my own hands, picked up the car myself, and we're here now. All right, so this is the old ground. I'm gonna replace it. This is kind of like a little ghetto rigged, but let's just replace it. We got another one to hopefully see that's the issue. AutoZone special. It's gonna do the job. I would hope so. Alright, that's done. I'm gonna see if I can crank it now. So we should have... So yeah, we're not getting no power at all. So as you can see, we have power there, power there, power there, but we got no power on the first lead right here, which should give us power. So now I'm gonna check it over there. Okay, and now we're moving over here. I'm gonna test this out to see what's happening. Where is our failure to our distributor? Pretty sure it's this one. It's one of these. Let me see which one. So as you can see, so it looks like his main harness failed because we got nothing. So he must have had a short somewhere. All right, so there you have it. It looks like that's our failure point because none of it is on. So I'm assuming that's our failure. We're gonna try to hit the junkyard tomorrow. All right, guys, so I think I found the solution. I had my kid start up the car, start cranking it, and we found out that we had no spark on the coil, ignition coil. And then we tested the ground to see if we had signal from the igniter to the ignition coil. Turns out we don't have any signal from the igniter because we was using the test light. Where is it? Somewhere. We was using this test light that we bought, and when we put it in, pretty much we had no signal, which means the igniter is not sending the signal over. So that's our issue. We're gonna swap out the igniter. All right, so we got the package in for the igniter, the ignition module, and we're gonna pretty much install that. From what I know the plugs come out, and I think there's 2 screws holding it. So we're gonna pull that out and put this one in, and hopefully the car will crank. I'm not sure if we mentioned it before, but I did buy another distributor. However, the fitment was a little bit wonky, and it was really difficult to put inside there. Pause. I had to force it in, and I didn't like that, so I took it back out. And I tried to crank it, but it just didn't crank. So I'm gonna do this. Hopefully it turns back on. We did check the codes, which I'll show you in a bit. So for those that are wondering how to check your codes on an OBD1 Civic EG, I pulled these out. It's a green sleeve. It's usually the 2-prong or 2-wire one. You will use a paper clip. All right, so you stick some type of metal or a paper clip. I had some spare wire, so I used that, and you will then get your code, which every long blink is a 1. That's 10, I'm sorry. Every long blink is a 10. So this is the second one, and then every short blink is a 1. So I have a 20 and a 9, which means I think low detector, and the 9, I forgot which one it was. I think crank position or something. So yeah. So we have to remove 2 screws down here. So this is the problem child. It looks like it's dumped in oil. Let's replace that with a new one. New one, third party. So I think it's Delphi. It's a brand. So after this distributor rebuilt, we still wasn't able to get the car started. It kept continuing with the crank and no start. Fortunately, this is where we left off, and more diagnosing needs to be done. But thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.